Up Norfolk, your taxes are about to go up.
The city budget battle ended last night as city leaders approved a $1.3 billion package. With that comes a real estate tax increase. The price of cigarettes is also going up, and visitors will also pay more when booking a hotel. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton is live following the money tonight.
And Allie, how much more can neighbors expect to pay?
Well, David, the real estate tax increase will cost you and I probably about $20 extra a month. That's for the average homeowner. Now, if you want to know where that money's going, it's actually going to add some vehicles to the fleet for the city of Norfolk, and some say that's desperately needed. Made in 1986, this Dodge van is the oldest vehicle in Norfolk's fleet. It's 32 years old.
We can't expect our employees to be efficient with antiquated equipment.
The average age of every city car, over 10 years old.
They're not user-friendly anymore. Parts are difficult to get.
Last night, City Council approved to spend $3.8 million on updating new equipment and replacing the old cars with new, green, and efficient models.
What happens is it makes everybody's job easier because the people over in fleet maintenance don't have to spend so much time finding a part, going to get a part. The part's expensive.
And when winter heads our way, the newer vehicles will be equipped.
They're also all going to have the ability to have snowplows added.
Norfolk won't need to rely on other resources. Councilwoman Graves says the 10-cent tax increase will make Norfolk more efficient.
We all are going to feel that pinch over the long haul, but I think we also are going to feel the increased efficiency in city services, and the citizens are going to be proud of that.
You will see that increase starting on July 1st. Live in Norfolk, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Well, the new budget means dozens of jobs will be eliminated. City leaders tell us around 40 people will be reassigned. Another 5 will have jobs outside the city. Nearly 40 other positions weren't filled, allowing the city to eliminate those jobs without letting anyone go.